All right, hello and welcome back. Welcome back to Nintendo Alert. It is Thursday, July 10th, 2025, and both my mouse and keyboard have stopped functioning. There we go, they're back. Having some interesting tech hiccups today. Okay, I get it. All of my accessories, all of my peripherals are coming online. I'm a little late because my computer apparently crashed while I was away. So I had to update those. But with that said, we're getting into some Mario Kart World. Once more. Gosh, the soundtrack right now. Just positively bumping. Sending out these stream notifications. Not looking at the stream right now. Please bear with me. And chat, for some reason, it's not loading. If you've chatted, please hold. Docs, chat. Please display chat. Okay. If you said something, say it again, because I haven't seen it. But welcome to everybody who is watching. Had a little bit of a spell this evening here. As you know, we left at 8,700. You'll notice we're now at 8,567. And so XP took a tumble. WTF, mate? What is going on worldwide other side? What's going on, buddy? All right. So, hoping to build back to 8,600, 8,700. I mean, ideally we get up to 8,800 again, but you know how it is. Yeah, Yael. Sometimes you gotta have corn, you know? Let me know how the audio is as well, folks, if you're hearing it. I'm not sure if it's been messed up at all from the computer crashing. Alright, so we've got a pretty competitive lobby here. We got a guy who's 88, 86. I've had some pretty brutal struggles on Spiny Rally today. But hoping to mount a comeback unlike anything the world has ever seen. An all-timer, straight to 88. All right. I'm gonna pretty desperately need to get this item. I got it. And we're gonna activate this to protect from any danger. We're gonna make a mad sprint here. And we got there. Excellent. That's right. Exactly right. Now, my hope is always that I knock out people. My hope is always that I knock people out when I run them over. Because if you knock them out early, you don't have to deal with them later on. And so if you, unfortunately, if you have the kill shot in your line sight, you got to take it. Now my strategy here is going to be to deploy this Mega Mushroom. Hopefully not. Okay, so let's get through this checkpoint. Give folks a second. And I'm going to get around this turn. Okay, excellent. There we go, okay. I mean, we made it through 8th place, not the highest placement. That's not going to help if we get knocked out early, but we don't get knocked out early. We're going for gold here. Okay, you guys gonna pass me or not? Thank you. That's right, no one thought it could happen. No one thought it could happen, but it did. He did it. Yeah, so you want to get better items, Yael. So you want to preserve the good items. So that way, going into the final stretch, you have the best possible items to defend you from getting run over, but also to run people over, right? And so your placement will improve if you make a mad dash at the final stretch more than it will if you hold the lead the whole time. And so like a triple red shroom here is a good item, but not ideal, because you would prefer some protection from other people. This is not the best set of circumstances we face here. Yeah, we may be fully fucked. Oh, we're done. Dude, fuck, man. Oh my god. That's the kind of luck I've had all day today, is getting just mushrooms and it not being enough. And it's brutal. It is really brutal. Do it. Thanks, Yael. I didn't do it, actually. I did not pull it off. And in fact, that's going to be very bad for my rank, I think. Remember Verdansk? I remember Verdansk, buddy. I remember. No, I gotta quit and see what my XP dropped to. Because that way I know. But I would guess that fell 60 XP or something like that. 60 or 70. We might be down at 84.80 or 84.90. That would hurt. That would hurt. 85.40. Okay. Okay. That was different. That's quite a bit less XP to lose. That's 26 XP. I think the game knows that we got fucked there. I think the game knows what happened. Drop Lake next time. No kidding. Well, here we are. What up, Game 123? Welcome back. Welcome back, young man. Yeah, I have had zero luck. I mean, I made it through the top 4, I think, once today. And I got a 3rd place finish. But I've just been getting railed. Dude, I'm trying to be better at the game. I'm making a concerted effort to get better at this game. And I'll tell you what, it's tricky. It's tricky, especially when you get to this XP rank. Because this is like the equivalent of like diamond level XP in this game. And so you're really grinding for... When you get to 9,000, like that's the you are objectively good at Mario Kart rank. Like there aren't slouches at level 9,000, you know? There are no spring chickens at level 9,000, you know? Not be a spring chicken. No way, no how. Good finishing place is 1. Exactly right. So you hang out in the back and you get better items. You hang out in the back and you get better items, but the problem is the game can tell. And so you kind of have to fool the game by, you have to keep moving forward, you have to kind of take wide angles like this. There's like a whole strategy towards bagging, because if you slam the brake in front of the item box, it like gets mad at you and it'll give you shit items. And it's hard to know when the game is going to know what you're up to. And so these are very good items here. And so as long as I don't get lightninged and lose my items, like it's a very good, somebody got lightninged up there. So that's great for me. Because that means it's now 30 seconds until the next lightning, I think, can come. Unless somebody else is also holding it, but just seems unlikely at this point. But so now that I have this item, and I'm sort of advancing forward here. We're gonna kick that on. There we go. I'll get out of the way of that fucking gold shell. Oh my god, stop! Alright, so we got a first place finish and a third place finish. Now, sort of the dynamic of this game that you have to consider is that each checkpoint that you clear matters in the total XP you get. And so even if you win, if you come in like dead last at each checkpoint, you're not going to get the amount of XP that you could if you came in first place at each checkpoint, if that makes sense. And so you want to be behind for the items, right? Okay, this is good. Now I can catch up. You want to be behind for the items, but not so far behind that you're kind of lost in the shuffle. But you want to be further up at the checkpoints, because let's say you get knocked out just like out of no fault of your own. Just fucking happens that way. Like, having better checkpoints reduces the amount of damage to your XP that happens. So you want to be locked in that way. Come on, pass. Oh no, don't do that. Exactly what I wanted. Okay, excellent items. Now we got to catch up a little bit here, though. Now you might be thinking, well, if you're so good at this game, why do you keep losing? And that is a great question. It's unfortunately one that can only really be answered by unlimited existential dread. Okay, so this is this checkpoint. Let's blaze onto this real quick. Then let's slam that fucking like button. Whatever, we made it. Fine. Yep. Knock me out. That's fine. Knock me back. Yeah, Game Worldwide from the other side is he's a long time Nintendo Alert viewer. He's a big fan. And he's a good guy too. Got exceedingly strong moral character, that young man does. Okay, this is a great item to pull here. We do want to get at least one more boost item to try to kind of help it out. Or if we could get, like, the shock, that would be sick. Let's see what we got. Oh, my God. Diamonds. Diamonds. Okay, so we're in through the 4th place gate. We don't have any protection, though, so we're kind of in danger here. Let's get aligned. Okay, I think we won. Did we win? We won. Nice. All right. Great. Excellent. And so that's what it looks like when you do well. That's what it looks like when everything goes your way. But that it's not been how tonight has gone. And so that's why we're down to 8595, because we were at 8700 this morning. But that's the situation. Gamer says, hey man, sorry it's late to the stream. Please, don't apologize. Worldwide from the other side is so late to the stream, he hasn't been here for months. But I'm glad he's here, frankly. I'm delighted. Thank you, Game123. Thank you. Worldwide from the other side. Look at Mark go. Months, I would say. Like, legitimately. Maybe a year. When's the last time you dropped in on a stream? Not, like, accusatorily. Not in a negative way. Just in a, like, it's so nice. It's so different. Alright, we gotta keep the party going, though, because now here's what is likely to occur here. Is we get blown out in 20th place. I want another win. I want another top 4 placement, but the most likely outcome here is getting absolutely fucked at either the 20th or the 16th checkpoint. And that's that. We are back on this map again, and so a back-to-back would be great. We can play that Drake song. I know, I miss you too. I miss you too. I'm looking forward to Peak this Sunday, though. I think Peak is going to be fun. We're going to have to figure out the timing of it, because it sounds like it's only 4-player, and we got 5 interested gentlemen. But if nothing else, we know Radmeyer's going to get tired and have to go to bed. He's going to say, oh, I got to raise my children tomorrow. Sorry. Sorry, I can't play games all night, guys. I got to go to work and raise my children. Can you imagine? You fucking imagine the nerve? The nerve of this young man? All right. Somehow we got 4th place there. Well, now, Yael, that's not what M stands for. That's not what M stands for, young man. But if you were watching the clip just there, if you were watching the thing, that's sort of what the idea is. It's you hang back, you get the good items, and then you burst ahead, and your placement is like, oops, I needed that item box. That's okay. We'll get the next one. But the placement is better than what it would have been if you tried front running and then like recovering from the 50,000 different things you're going to get hit with, because that's how this game works. And so there is a little bit of a give and take. It's counterintuitive, but sometimes being behind is better than being ahead. Oh, dude, I was going to freak the fuck out if I didn't get that item box. But I do have some catching up to do here. Oh, stay away from me, Big Toad. Oh no, I got hit. All right, any item box here? Now this is kind of a good spot to be in because I can use the Mega Mushroom if need be to protect myself, but I don't think I'm going to need it. So now I have it. But Mega Mushroom is not really what I'm going to need here. So I'm going to... Yeah, I'm going to throw my lead away a little bit. Oh, I can't see shit anyway, so... There we go. Okay, 9th place, 10th place. Great. Now, I could use another one of them gold shroom. Dude, where the fuck did the double item box go? Oh, that's not good. Okay, we made it in 7th place. That was much closer than it needed to be, frankly. We got a gold shroom. That's good. Okay, we got to catch up, though. These people will tear each other apart, so that's okay. Oh, excellent, 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 excellent. And as foretold by the scriptures, these people are tearing each other apart up here, which has allowed me to get within striking range. Alright, we made it into top 4. We got a top 4 situation. We're going to try this trick again. Now, if Nick is smart, he'll also go for it, and he'll throw it right at me. He's not. Oh, wow, I got knocked out there. Oh, that's not good. Alright, well, I'm going to need some good fucking items, because I got just as we were going over the pole. That's fine, though. 4th place is not bad. Excellent items. Ah. Very close. What's up with the stream? It's like, it'll buffer for a few seconds, and then it'll act like the stream ended when it didn't, and I have to click on the stream again just to catch up. I'm not entirely sure. I've had some internet issues that have made things a little difficult. I don't know what the problem is, but there is some sort of problem. You're not alone in experiencing it. It's just, unfortunately, that's how it is. All right. I think we do one more. We'll do one more solo matchmaking, and then we will open the lobby up for a little group play. That sounds bad. All right, that's Shimon. Oh no, please more people than that. Here's the thing, is if they put me in a fucking race with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, if I anything short, oh my god, a 10,000 XP? A 10,000 XP? What the fuck? Chat is just catching up now, but a 10,000 XP is nuts. I've literally never seen that before. I don't think I expected that it could go that high. Now, don't I feel foolish trying so hard to get fucking 9,000 points? As if that was the end. I hope that guy finishes in, like, fucking 20th place, though. That would be very funny. Oh, that's not good. Ooh, that's even worse. Come on, let's go. Go, Mario. Go, go, go. Now, I'm going to hang on to the lightning. I'm going to take a worse checkpoint. Keep the lightning. And I am just going to kind of hope that I can catch up and stay up here. I won't have any boosts. I mean, we'll see. We'll kind of play it by ear. Alright, that was pretty good. Yeah, 10k is wild. I don't know who... I don't know how that's possible, frankly. Oh no. That's sort of bad news, but I think we can still do something with an item box. Okay. That was close. Ooh, that's a very good item. Ah, we didn't make it. Alright, let's see. Let's see what that did to my XP. I mean, hopefully nothing, right? Hopefully a 6th place finish with a guy with a rank 10,000 in the room doesn't hurt your XP, right? I don't know. We'll see. Let's watch and see what happens here. I'm curious who wins this game. Or who I placed ahead of. I wonder if I placed ahead of the 10,000 XP guy. I doubt I did, but be curious. Alright, so he won. Then what happened to me? I was so close to getting back above Minus 25! The 10,000 XP guide, I guess must have been right in front of me. Dude, to lose 25 points for that finish feels crazy. That feels crazy. And that's sort of the problem you run into when you're in this XP tier, is effectively a good game like that doesn't really mean a lot. Like, you have to be top 4. Because if I had placed top 4, I would have been in business. What I should have done was use the boo. Oh, I gotta quit. I should have used the boo sooner. And I would have made it. I would have probably pulled it off if I'd used the boo sooner. And then, well, it's tricky because then I got the, what's it called? I got the banana. All right, folks, if you'd like to join the room ID is YXDR5Y. That's YXDR5Y. Enter that into your Nintendo Switch 2 console, and you will be joined into the game. And that's that. That's how it is. That's how the cookie crumbles. But would love to have you back if you've joined in the past, and if you haven't joined in the past, would love to have you join for the first time. We got a solid squad of 4. We'll give it another minute, and then nobody else joins. We will get started. So I realized last night how much of a delay the stream is on. I did not know it. Welcome in, Smug Dog. I didn't know it, but by the time I say something, or from the time I say something to the time YouTube plays it, there's like a good, 30-second delay. Like, it's a pretty serious delay because I turned the stream off last night and then opened my laptop and went into YouTube Studio. And by the time I did all of those things, the stream was still online. It hadn't finished yet. And so, pretty crazy. Psycor, what do we have to do to convert you to the YouTube gang? I'm looking right now, and it says we have 6 YouTube viewers and 1 Twitch viewer. I think you're like the lone Japanese soldier after World War II. You're still on the island. Come back home, Psycor. War's over. All right. Here we go. Dude, whenever I hear this song, I think about King of Bacon pointing out how the bassist in this track is just going fucking nuts. Like, the man is putting in an all-time performance, frankly. If you listen, now that you've been made aware of it, listen. And tell me the bassist is not putting in the performance of his life. Damn, I was trying so hard to hit Wario, whoever Wario is. Oh no. I've been completely turned around right before the item box. What an incredible inconvenience. Hell yeah. Welcome in, gamer. Excited that you're joining. It's been a few nights since you played, huh? Oh no. Don't knock me back right before the item box. I can't speak today. Oh, Nick! Nick, you bastard! Or whoever just used that horn, I think it was Nick. That was a brutal horn. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, that's fun. Always nice having people over for dinner. That's always a good time. Well, glad you're back in the action. Hasn't been the same without you. Oh my god! Oh my god! Dude, that fucking light in the shortcut got me. That's my biggest fear every time I play in matchmaking, is that I'm gonna get fucking got by some stupid bullshit like that. And wouldn't you know how often that fucking happens to me? Basically every other game. Or you get some shit like we had the last game. Oh, you came in 6th place against some of the best players in the game. Well, looks like you'll be losing 15 XP for that. Or however much we lost. Oh, wow, we just narrowly avoided getting hit by a fucking bus there, chat. Come on, give me triple food, triple food. All right. That's a competitive round, so shout out to everybody. Game is opening up these leads, though. Game is opening up these crazy leads. And you love to see it. All right, welcome, folks. We got a whole bunch of people joining. We got X in the game. That's a rarity. X, I've joined VC. If you would like to, chat, I'm getting excited for Donkey Kong. Curious your thoughts. Also, room info. If you'd like to join the room, YXDR5Y does it. That's YXDR5Y. That gets you in the door. Welcome to Zolan X, Matthew, Flash911, Smug Dog, X, Dark Wolf, Nick Guy, and of course Game123. Game123 is the first in, last out. He's a dedicated man. I still can't believe we saw a guy who was ranked 10,000.
I love this.
What up, X? I still can't believe we saw a guy who's ranked 10,000. I mean, he wasn't after the game because he was only barely above 10,000 and he wasn't the top placing person, so he must have certainly lost XP. But just an insane amount of XP. X, did you read the interview? If this is a talking joint, if it's not a talking joint, say nothing. But did you read the interview with the developers of Donkey Kong? Thought it was interesting. There was a a question they asked about what's it called? About the design and whether or not it was meant to match the movie. And the devs didn't really answer it, but then I guess Nintendo PR reached out after the interview and was like, to be clear, this is not based on the movie, this is based on Miyamoto's original artwork. And I thought that was interesting. They're like, no, not an Illumination design, thank you very much.
Well, they gave like a non-answer.
Yeah. They always...
They were like, well, it's inspired. They said something like there's multiple types of DK looks or something. And it's inspired by how DK is at the basis, and I think they were looking at having him express how expressive he can be. So we need to design him around making him more expressive.
Interesting. Yeah, it's Nintendo's got PR people up there with political fucking people. Like, it's whenever I read statements they write, I'm like, man, that's Loctite, you know? Miyamoto should move to the US and run for Senate. I think he'd do quite well.
He just needs to take the Nintendo PR team with him.
That's exactly right. Oh no, wow, I should have used that fucking Bullet Bill. I had a Bullet Bill gold shroom just get fucking swiped out of my hands.
My favorite part of the interview was when they were like, they said, when did you come to the decision to do a Donkey Kong the next game? And they were pretty much like, well, the guy that's like in charge just walked in and said, you're doing a Donkey Kong.
I said, okay, yeah. That was funny, because I think they had some sense that it was going to be about, you know, some deeper meaning or some complicated process. And they're like, yeah, so he came in and he's like, what if we did Donkey Kong? And we're like, all right. It's very funny. I think it was a similar response almost for when they asked about, like, they're like, what was the process behind making Pauline that young? And they're like, well, we thought that people could find it interesting. And that's what, like, so many of the
the thing about the Pauline answer, though, was they kind of hinted at, like, they don't want to answer it because it might be answered in the game. It's kind of the sense that we got.
Very interesting.
They were like, they said, they either said it's up for gamers to decide or it's up for gamers to find out or something like that. It was, like, cryptic. And it seems they're maybe hinting that that's something they hit on.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the lore implications. Like, I feel like I'm most excited for this game to see if they do try to connect it to Odyssey, or if they, like, there's been so much speculation about what the lore is going to be, and if they're going to try to retcon Donkey Kong, the arcade game, or what it is, you know? And so, I don't know. It should be pretty neat. Be real fucking neato, you know?
Yeah, I think they're, you know, they've shown already that they've hidden secrets that they've already revealed, and I think there's probably more to come. So I think it might be a game of like, wow, they actually did that or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, it would be okay.
It was just like it seemed like a really awkward interview. Like I don't know if it was the translator or what, but it seemed like they were just like giving like straight answers, and the interviewer was like trying to like be kind of like fun with it a little bit, because like, the one that stood out to me was like, he asked a question about the vanadium or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah. Dude, that was so funny. Like, oh. It's like, is it like rocks? And they're like, I guess.
Like, that's a fun way to think about it. You just think about it however you want. They're bananas and they're rocks. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it reminds me of people kind of reading into music and they talk to their favorite artist and they're like, oh, when you said this, is this what you meant? And they're like, no, actually, no, that's not what I meant. But that's sick though. I'm glad that meant something to you, you know?
Yeah, that's like exactly how it is.
Yeah, very funny. Dude, I'm getting fucked. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. And it's next week. I keep forgetting it's next week.
Exactly 1 week away.
Yeah. Oh, because it's Thursday, right? Or is it Friday?
Yep, it's Thursday.
Oh, nice.
The other interesting thing, only semi-interesting, because I was already like 100% confident. Because like I said before about Mario Kart World, is the only reason there are Switch 2 games at launch is because Nintendo, because they were making games that couldn't be done on the Switch or that ran better on the Switch 2. Because Nintendo was all in and still is on the Switch 1 because it sold so many systems that they're just constantly still making games for it. They don't care to make Switch 2 games as much. And yeah, that was the same story as with Mario Kart World as it is for Donkey Kong, where they were both originally Switch games, and then they saw the power of the Switch 2, and they're like, this is gonna work a lot better on that.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how it holds up over time. But I think that my big thing is that, like, when I played the demo at Target, I feel like I could waste a lot of time just breaking everything because there's, like, everything was destructible. And I feel like when I'm in that sort of a game, my impulse is, what happens if I get rid of everything, right?
Yeah. And
so
they made it sound like if you were to play it on like the original Switch design they had, that you wouldn't be able to destroy everything because it doesn't have that much like CPU processing power. And you wouldn't be able to contain that you changed all of that environment. So I do wonder how much. Like, I'm guessing you could destroy everything and it will save everything. But if you leave that area and come back, we'll see. But continue.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing from the interview, is they said that it sounds like that saves. Like, it legitimately just saves the destruction you did, which I think could be good, but then I also could picture a scenario where I break everything, and then I try to come back to do something, and I can't because I broke the way to it. And so I'm sure they have something...
I think if that's the case, there's probably a reset button.
Yeah, I would imagine that it's either that or you can add the material back, but... I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be, if nothing else, a really interesting experiment to see how it played out. That's that.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely say that about it, is that it's going to be different than anything we've played before.
Stingbee Biofuel. Oh, that's a good name. Stingbee Biofuel says, hey, Nintendo Alert, just dropping in to watch since my brother Smug Dog is using our household Switch. Hell yeah, that's exciting. Well, your brother's a real MLG pro out here kicking our asses, so proud of that. Welcome in. Yeah, no, I mean, less than a week to go, so that's great. Maybe I don't know though. So this is not to get morbid, but I might have to fly back to Massachusetts for a funeral soon, and so that's gonna fuck up my ability to stream it. But life is life, you know. That's how it is. But you know, either way, that'll be a good positive in what would otherwise be a shitty week if things kind of play out the way we're anticipating they will. Keeping my fingers crossed that's not the case, but it's one of those things.
So
you know?
Is your plan to play it either way?
Well, I'm not going to play it at the funeral, but sir, I feel like I had to clarify because fucking
It'd be a good Nintendo ad.
Yeah, it's like you can play anywhere. What is it? What's their slogan? Anywhere, all together, all at once, or whatever the fuck. Just sitting there. No, I would definitely buy it. I would just buy it in Massachusetts and play it out there handheld, and then report back because I won't be able to stream out there anyway. I don't have a gaming PC laptop anymore. I just have the desktop. So I guess I could use the MacBook because all I really need is a like a capture card, and I have one. A capture card in OBS. So I don't know, but I also, if I'm out there, I'm not gonna fucking hole up and stream in my childhood bedroom for 4 hours. Probably spend some time with my family, my grieving family. You know. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mom. We gotta stream Donkey Kong. But in any case, oh my God! Look at all these snowmen. Look at all these snow individuals.
I'm still thinking. I don't know, next week. I think before the end of the month, we're getting some kind of content.
I know.
Related to Fort Mario Kart World.
Well, it's gotta. It's fucking piece of shit. I'm about to get Mario Karted. Dude, here it comes. Look at this. Dude. Matthew, hold still so I can draft off of you, you son of a bitch. That was bad. That was almost a disaster. Yeah, I think that we're due. We're due for like a post-launch direct, I think. I don't know that it's going to be huge, but there are some questions that they still have to answer, right? And so they need to let us know, when is Kirby Air Riders coming out? There's this whole thing that we saw the leak about, well, not the leak, but Nintendo put out some sort of Nintendo 64 related thing, and in the background you can see game covers like blurred by the yeah. And so like Smash Brothers and Rayman and like a whole bunch of weird but like really good games were involved. And if you could play like OG Smash Brothers online, I think that would be pretty fucking big. And so I don't know. I mean, we'd have to see. And if they like expanded it and included characters who weren't originally in there to make like the Smash community happy, that would be sick. But
we'll get online play, but we're not gonna
yeah. No, I don't think you're wrong there. That would definitely be a little different. But yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. And then of course it is still the 40th anniversary year for Mario, and we haven't really heard anything. And so I would imagine we're due for, because the Mario movie's supposed to come out in April. And so I want to say on a similar timeline, they started like dropping trailers for the first one in terms of like summer into the next spring. And so we could be getting info on that. Jesus Christ. Okay. Pressing the button. I'm getting across the finish line. So all this to say, there's plenty of room for another Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I think I read something about them saying that some insider source said that there was going to be July. But might be misremembering. But also, I don't trust stuff that comes out about Nintendo is usually more wrong than anyone else.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it's so memed, you know? Like Nintendo news is such a fucking... And Nintendo leaks, you know? You see the 4chan posts all the time that have like an entire E3's worth of fucking content. in like, oh, rumored next Nintendo Direct, and it's like 50 different fucking announcements, all for like AAA properties, and it's like there's simply no way that happens. I'm sorry to break your heart. Like nobody would more want Kirby Air Riders, fucking new 3D Mario, you know, all of these fucking things at once. But that's just, it's almost too. It's literally too. Cannot happen. Stingbee, I don't think we have a release date. Oh, Nick. So rude. I don't think that we have a release date for the new Mario movie. I think we know it's spring 2026. Or maybe we have the date. But it's definitely spring 2026. And so it's due for some announcements, or April 2026. It's around the same time as the first one. Yeah, we have a rough sense. So it's next spring. Certainly by next Easter. For all you religious Mario heads out.
Do you think it's truly called Super Mario World, or do you think that was just some mistake that someone made, or that's not actually finalized?
Oh, I'm sure it's a working title of some sort, or like just internet bullshit, you know?
I think it was an accidental press release from...
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I was forgetting where that came from. Yes, in that case, I think that it is probably 100% what it's called. Because I think Illumination would... You have to think that they wrote that with the intent that people know about it, and then they were like, oopsie daisy, we weren't supposed to tell people that. And so... I think it's definitely possible that that's, and frankly, it's probable. I forgot that came from that source. I was like, somebody just made it up online. Yeah, that seems bad, but no, I think that's oh shit items, it's absolute garbage, trash items. Go, Mario! Go! Oh, we did it. I think we did it. Oh, April 3rd, 2026. Yeah, so we're due for information then. Smug Dog's gonna play. Yeah, do the 2-player. Do the guest thing. You guys are welcome to. The more people, the better. We're coming up on like a 24-person lobby almost. Well, never mind. I forgot that the computers were mixed in there. We do have a lot of people playing right now. All right. So if folks do want to join, YXDR5Y. That's YXDR5Y. Yeah, somebody drove directly into my back with the green shell, and that was rough. That was rough, because otherwise you would have probably... passed me, but drove directly into the green shell. Smug Dog, we'll wait for you because it sounds like you're gonna have to add them as a guest. You gotta hit him with I'm a little nervous, you know?
So this is the 40th year, right? Is what you're saying, Mario?
So what?
This is the 40th year, right? That's what you're saying about Mario?
Yeah, because it was, Super Mario Bros. Was 1985, yeah? And so...
I feel like Nintendo just kind of picks what years they want to, like, get hyped about. Like, obviously, like, you know, if it's like 25, they like can't help themselves, but then like you might see them just like not care about 30 or 35. you know, and like 50, like they're gonna have to, but then you might also see them celebrate 45, but not 40 or something. I feel like they do stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I saw because the 35th anniversary is when they released 3D All Stars, and so part of me is like, maybe that is the year that they're gonna celebrate because I want to say the 35th year they also announced the movie or they did something else for 5 years ago but it just seems because 40 is such a big milestone, you know. I don't know.
It might not be, I don't know, it might not be as big in like Japanese culture.
Yeah, maybe not. I hope that they bring 3D All Stars, like they release it again for the Switch 2. I would pay for it again, to be honest. I know that that's ridiculous, but if they added,
What would they do?
well, if they added Galaxy 2, and like maybe, here's my big thing. I think I would lose my fucking mind if they said, "Hey, listen, 3D Mario is another 2 years away. However, in the meantime, we've put Mario 64 in the Mario Odyssey engine, and it's running at 4K, 60 frames." Like that would be nuts. I feel like for me that would be huge. I would still want the 3D Mario game eventually, but that would be enough for me to be like, oh shit, Nintendo cooked here, you know? And so I think if they were to do something like that, or if they were to do, like, give us something that flexes the power of the Switch 2 in a way where we can kind of compare it to what we already have. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to give us something brand new, do something sort of creative, you know? I don't know. Something creative. Remaster a 30-year-old game. Do something bold and innovative. Let us buy Mario 64 for the 15th time.
How do you feel about their statement of them doing less? It was like they're doing less game development time on games to make up for how much it costs. They're gonna make smaller games.
Oh, interesting.
They just what they said. I can't remember the exact quote, but they came out and said something like the focus is going to be on shorter games to make up for how much production costs.
I mean, if the games stay $60, fine. But if they're going to still charge $80 for shorter games, then that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like they will be rightly crucified for that. But I don't know. I also don't know what that means. Like, if the development cycle is just shorter, but they still think that they're putting out, like, games that are on par with the quality of what they've always put out, then, like, sure. But the moment you fuck it up, know that people are going to know you fucked it up, right? And so, like, I'm sort of agnostic to it. I think whatever they think is going to... Oh, I should have used it. I never do, but I always should have. I'm agnostic to their practices. I'm not a game dev. I don't know what's necessary. But announcing, hey, games are expensive to make now, so we're going to spend less time making them. You had better then come to the party and say, and so for that reason, we're not going to charge $80. I don't think that's going to happen, but it sort of should.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, whatever. Don't fuck it up, though. Because Nintendo's got such a good rep right now. They can, like, spit in your face, and there's a large contingent of people who are like, yeah, fine.
Like they've had that problem ever.
What's that?
I can't think of a time where there wasn't a large group of fanboys who would be fine with Nintendo spitting in their face.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying is that you have that, and so it's like if you suddenly, like now if the quality of the game sucks so bad that you start to lose that base, then now you're in trouble because it's not enough to, you know, like they're already...
I'm questioning, can they even lose that base?
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. So here's the thing. I think they could, and here's why. Is because I'm maybe a single step below that level, right? Like I have no, you know, I have no fucking problem saying when what Nintendo is doing is stupid or, you know, is anti-consumer or acknowledging, you know, all of the dumb shit that they've gotten themselves into about any number of topics, right? I have no problem with that. However, I think if at any point the quality of the games that they were making degraded so that it's similar to, like, think about like Sonic, right? Sonic Frontiers or whatever came out and people were like, oh my god, this is the best Sonic game in decades. It was like, I felt like it was like unplayable. I was like, this game fucking blows. And I'm like a very large Sonic fan. I have like a fucking fake Sonic the Hedgehog Blue Sky account, you know? Like, I should be very sympathetic to it. I'm like, this game fucking sucks. And so, like, if at any point they reached, like, Sonic the Hedgehog levels of this game sucks, I think that would be enough for people to more or less be an open revolt. Okay, I'm going to get Mario Kart in here for sure. Oh, no, I made it. Because it's disrespectful. It's like, a really great example is the Red Sox, right? The Red Sox are like an all-time historic baseball team. Like, you don't have to like them, but they've been around since before the MLB. They have one of the oldest stadiums in baseball outside of, you know, non-major league stuff. Like, there's so much history there that it almost is more offensive when the team is bad because it's like the current stewards of the team's legacy aren't taking it serious. It's like, this is like 110 years of people like really being bought into this team and you're like fucking spitting on it, right? And so obviously Nintendo isn't quite to that caliber because it's only been around since the 80s, but like, well, the company itself has been around for a long time, but you know what I mean. And so it's like, if they suddenly are producing like a completely shit product, you know, I think you lose the core of what it is that, like, all the fanboys lose cover. But then, as I'm saying that, my mind is saying, yeah, but tell that to the Sonic the Hedgehog fanboys, right? Like, Sega could fucking kick those people directly in the groin, and they would be like, oh, this is a great game, you know? I don't know. What do you... I'm guessing you don't believe that it's possible for them to reach that core audience. Oh. Alright, let's pretend you didn't see that. You may be muted if you're talking next.
No, I know I'm muted. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think you lose some of them, but you keep a lot, I would guess. I know, like with Sonic, like, I mean, they make bad games all the time, and like you were saying, and you find people who defend them. Like, there are people who swear by the worst Sonic games that have been made. There's almost no ubiquity in the Sonic fan base on, like, what is the worst Sonic game.
Yeah. Real quick, Smug Dog, yes, I can see the chat, sorry. Yeah. An interesting thought. What would Nintendo have to do to lose that audience? Like, could it be anything? I don't know. Though I'll also say, I feel like to some extent, and real quick, let me actually plug the room code. If you want to join the game and you're watching, the room ID is YXDR5Y. That's YXDR5Y. Join the game at any time. everybody's welcome. We've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 15 players in this room. That's crazy. Yeah. I don't know, but I feel like some of the stuff, and maybe why we have a sense that they couldn't lose it, is not necessarily that they've done anything super bad that's been ignored, as much as it is a lot of the reaction to some of the more, I don't want to say benign, but some of the less harmful stuff that Nintendo's done that's just kind of irritating is treated as though they've broken some sacred covenant. You know what I mean? And so, you know, a great example is I was on Reddit and somebody posted on the Switch 2 subreddit, and it was like agreeing to the terms and conditions. And the little checkbox said, you know, by checking this, you allow Nintendo of America to send you text messages. In order to stop receiving text messages, you have to delete the phone number associated with your Nintendo account. And this guy immediately posted to Reddit and said, "This is fucking ridiculous. I can't believe this shit." And everybody was like, "What do you mean you can't believe this shit?" He's like, "It's fucking crazy." And they're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I gotta delete my phone number?" It's like, "No, dumbass, you don't have to delete your entire phone number. You have to remove it from your account. Of course you don't have to call your phone company and delete the phone number. That's not a real, like..." And so I just feel like that's how a lot of people view a lot of Nintendo shit. And that's how it's, like, talked about in a lot of online spaces, where it's like, you know, it's obviously never quite as, or not always quite as dramatic as that. But I do think a lot of the time there is shit where it's like, okay, like, if you had even slightly a better impression of, oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, getting the Mega Mushroom as somebody else hits the fucking lightning is a psychotic feeling, because you're just crushing people. But yeah, anyway, you know what I'm saying. Because people have such a non-charitable interpretation of every move Nintendo makes that it's like, it's hard to know what are the things that would actually be red lines for them to cross as a company versus, like, what are the things that would just cause more people to bitch on the computer? And how would we tell the difference? And I don't know. I do think if Mario was sort of debased to the level of Sonic, that would be a big problem. At least for me. And oh, that was bad. And that's really the only rubric I can use, because I can't think of anything that would more fundamentally betray the Nintendo brand, than producing shit Mario games. Like, if every Mario game was like Hotel Mario, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's like, you just have to, you just don't know, because there's just certain, I mean, they do have a good history of consistently making good Mario games.
You know,
I guess that's all some fans need, but then I think there are some fans that would be like, they would just stick with it. Like, as long as you make a 3D Mario game, I'll keep buying.
You know what would do it, X? You know what would cause people to finally leave Nintendo? If they went woke. If they joined James Gunn and the woke mob.
Yeah, if they make Mario an Italian immigrant.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, that whole thing's so fucking dumb. They made Superman an immigrant. Is he from space? Yes, then he's a space immigrant. He is inherently an immigrant. Country he's from.
I saw a post on X because I wanted to see like the worst takes possible. There was a post on X that was just like stating it or something like, oh, James Gunn said I think um, it was one of those like, it was pop culture, I think, or something, pop culture chat or whatever, like their Twitter account. It was like James Gunn says that's who's managing it. And I read like the comments under it, and there were literally people saying like he's not an immigrant, he's a refugee.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so you're in favor. So you're in favor of refugees then. So everybody applying for temporary protective status should have their fucking status increased, is what you're saying. Dude, they're brain dead. And that's the problem with so much of the political discourse in America, is that people are just functionally brain dead and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just like, I don't know. I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of pretending that it's not just that these people are dumb and like happy to be lied to and taken advantage of. And it's just like, you're dumb. You're dumb. You're dumb and you're a bad person. If you don't think we should take care, like, if you don't think we should take care of immigrants and refugees, like, I don't like you. Like, I don't like you as a person. I don't fuck with your vibe. I think that you, if you're religious, are going to hell. Like, I'm just done. I'm over it. I like.
Well, that's like pretty much what James Gunn's brother said. He was like, if you're not like pro-immigrant, then you're like not. That's not the American way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it.
And it's like, I'm gonna go even further and say I don't give a shit if it's the American way. I'm just like, as a dude, I'm like, if I were an immigrant, I would probably want people to be like, oh, you know what? You've got a real shit situation. Let's help you out. Like, easy. Because you know for a fact, these fucking dumbasses, if they lived in the world that they think they do, where, you know, they were these political fucking refugees under attack by the federal government, and they would expect to be able to flee to some other country. Like, they would expect refuge in Canada or one of the fucking allied countries. They're the type I mean, it's so funny to me when I see posts on Reddit or social, and it's like a sign that says Americans, or it says, foreign entries. And then it has a specific American flag that says Americans go this way because people are oh my God, I just pulled the lightning. Crazy. Because people are incapable of understanding that even as Americans, they can be, you know what I mean? Like, if you're in Japan, you're not in the domestic anymore, right? Like, you have to go to the international arrivals. It's just like shit like that, where it's like people have no sense of where they are in the world. They have no sense of like scale or like place. Just genuinely believe that they like live these gilded lives, and it's just like, man.
Well, it's funny because like James Gunn didn't saying that Superman is an immigrant isn't even as far as you could take it. Like, he is an illegal immigrant.
Right.
He didn't even say illegal. He is an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
And it's like how, like, it's this funny thing I was telling my friend earlier. It's like, these people love something. They fall in love with something like Superman. They fall in love with nerd culture. And for some reason, a bunch of this stuff just goes, well, I mean, for some reason because they're dumb. A bunch of this stuff just goes over their head of these, like, messages in the work that they're reading, these things that the art is about, that they put into it, and it just doesn't like compute with them. They just take what they want from it. And then it's like, when they're confronted with the truth of what the thing they love is about, instead of like having some kind of self-reflection of being like, wow, this thing that I love isn't, like, either going, this thing that I love, I hate it now because I realize that it's not what I believe in, or saying, wow, this thing that I love counteracts what I believe in, maybe I should reconsider my beliefs. Instead of either of those things, which are the more reasonable reactions, even if it's rejecting the thing, instead they get angry and they insist that it aligns with their belief somehow, but that's just not true, and they do it all the time, and it's maddening.
Yeah, it's just straight up cope. Real quick, YXDR5Y. That's YXDR5Y gets you into the game if you'd like to play. Everybody is welcome to join, unless you're in the dirty, filthy woke mob. That's a joke. Anybody is welcome to join. We are not that kind of a program here at Nintendo Alert. We're Nintendo woke alert. No, I kid. Yeah, but no, it's cope. It's cope and it's denial, where it's like these fucking people can watch Star Wars. These fucking dumbasses can watch Star Wars and not understand, like, the very obvious fucking, like, the Empire are the bad guys, and they, like, end the rebellion, and, like, it's just the most basic messaging. Like, you can understand the message of Star Wars when you are 11 years old. But
yeah, and when you're 13, you understand that it's like very, very, very closely based off of the Holocaust.
Right, it's like a World War II allegory. And that's why the Empire's uniforms are so fucking slick. And then you watch any interview with George Lucas where he's like, yeah, man, I was just talking about Empire, you know? I was talking about the American Empire and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, how are you, like, how do you miss this? And here's the thing, they don't miss it, but I think what it really is fucking fascist people love to co-opt icons. That's just, like, what they do. And so it's like, I don't know. And that's why I keep beating the drum. I'm like, we need to do more nerdy shit in the political sphere. We cannot be fucking around and letting these sorts of, like, beloved intellectual properties fall into the hands of dumbasses who either completely miss the point or willfully misinterpret it to fit their agenda. Like, Darth Vader is the bad guy, sure, and he looks cool, whatever, but, like, the fucking rebellion is the most based thing ever. You know? Like, it's I don't know. The whole thing is bewildering to me. But the Superman thing especially is because it's not even really about, like, is Superman, like, woke or progressive? Because obviously he's not, right? It's a comic book. Frankly, it is the whitest possible comic book I can imagine. Like, to be clear, it is it is the most 1950s wokest fucking thing. Or not wokest fucking thing. It's the most 1950s whitest fucking thing ever. Like, it is a bowl of milk filled with marshmallows as cereal level white. Like, it is mayonnaise on a ham sandwich. Like, and that's fine, right? But that's because it was written in the 50s by, like, I don't know who the author is, but I'm just going to make a blanket assumption that he's a white dude in the 50s writing a comic book. And, like, it's based off of some, like, World War II themes or something like that. Like, it's an old school fucking thing. And so, like, yeah. Anyway.
I mean, I believe he's white, but it's very old. It predates World War II.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, like, the people who wrote it, two guys, they were, like, first generation immigrants.
Oh, well, then in that case,
their parents were immigrants.
Then in that case, yeah, directly on the nose. I stand corrected. Yeah, no, it was actually a direct fucking immigration reference. And that's the thing, I think the immigration debate, when you really get down to it, the modern immigration debate is just people being racist. Because that's how it was back in the day, too. Oh, wow, 2 lightnings in one game is nuts. That's how it was back in the day, too. But, like, when you talk about, like, Irish immigrants, if you were to find the most racist Irish guy in your neighborhood and ask him about, you know, immigration back in the day and how they treated the Irish people, there would be no shortage of stories about how hard it was and about how unfair it was and how they were forced to live in tenements and work long hours and, you know, it was unacceptable and blah, 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 blah. But then when you ask them to consider that the same exact thing is happening today, but with, immigrants from Mexico or Venezuela or, refugees, temporary protected status, right? They're incapable of drawing that fucking conclusion, or at least the racist ones are. And it's not because, they don't have reading literacy. It's because they probably don't want to. If you are from like an Irish or Italian ancestry where, your great-grandparents or your grandparents came over Ellis Island, that story, if that's part of your family story and you can't fuck with immigrants today, it's you're too far gone. I mean, probably not. There's redemption for everybody, but I don't fuck with you because you are completely unaware of your history, and I just don't know what to say.
I mean, I think it's all rooted in like a lack of empathy.
Yes.
It's insane, how no one has any empathy. As long as they're sitting pretty, they don't give a shit about anything else.
And that's the thing. It's I don't know. I don't know how to teach that, right? Growing up, I went to Catholic school, right? From preschool to 8th grade. And so I think I had some of that religious education where, for all the faults of Catholicism, whatever, I definitely, I think took away from that at a pretty early age. You gotta look out for people who are worse off than you, and you gotta take care of people, and it can't always be about yourself, and that it's better to give than receive. Shit like that, I feel was pretty basic to growing up, but I'm getting the sense that for a lot of people that's not the case, and the older I get, the more I'm oh no, there are people who have no, not even necessarily religious grounding, because I'm not even really religious anymore, but just no moral ground. Where it's what the fuck do you mean you don't care what happens to other people? You don't have to cry about it. You don't have to lose sleep over the state of other people, but you should be interested in making sure that most people who you are around are having a good time, because otherwise what is the fucking point? Genuinely, why, this sucks then. Everything sucks.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned religion, because it's just the same thing with Superman that they're doing the same thing with Superman that they do with religion. It's they just warp it to be what they think it should be, and it's not that, but they warp it to deal with their ideals. They don't care that Jesus would not be against immigration. He was very much with the poor and everything, and they just don't give a shit.
Well, even
no, that's how I do this.
And that's the thing. It's even further, he had the Bible has the whole thing about how you treat the stranger in your land like one of your own, and very explicit instructions about how to handle immigrants and refugees, incredibly explicit instructions. And they're just well. It's are you out of your fucking mind? And that's what I think gets me. That's what pisses me off the most. It's listen, man, I don't know. I can't teach you how to be a good person, but the hypocrisy is so obvious and so mind-bogglingly fucking clear that I don't even know how to begin to interact with you, because it's you're just you're wrong about your own shit.
And then it gets worse when you get to it's almost like an extension of it, or it's related, where it's you get into people like Trump, where it's just it gets to the point where not only are they warping how their opinion on everything else, but their opinion on themselves, and then they just reflect everything back on everyone else, and then it just becomes that they're like, if anything's wrong with them, it's actually wrong with everyone else, and then it just ends up being their entirely own universe that they existed and create, and then other people just believe the universe that that person's created with their lies, and then it just perpetuates this whole thing. And that's where we are today.
Yeah. Real quick, if you'd like to join a better universe than the one we currently exist in, room ID is YXDR5Y. That's YXDR5Y. And you can join the game. Everybody's welcome. But yeah. No, I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible, and it's so stupid. It's so stupid because it's like people have completely lost their moral center. And I don't know, man. It's one of those things where everybody says, oh, well, you can't know until you're in this situation how you would act. But if I were at work and somebody asked me to completely compromise my values, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell you for a fact I would never go and work for an organization or a cause that I didn't believe in. Even if there was money involved, I would just not apply for it, you know? Because I just feel like there's so little in life that you truly get to control, right? But you can control yourself, and you can have, like, pretty much everything can be taken away from you. But if you have a degree of integrity, at the end of the day, you can, like, be like, oh, okay, well, I may be, dirt poor, but, like, I keep my word and I'm fucking a good guy, I'm not going to let you starve if I can, right? But there are people who have just no values. And it's like, you think about the Republicans in the Senate or whatever, whose entire thing has been like, oh, fiscal responsibility. And then they approve this budget bill. And it's like, obviously, and this is the problem, right, is we could go on with a million different contradictions. And it's almost like I hate bringing up hypocrisy these days, because it's like the hypocrisy is almost not the point. Like, they're just outright lying. Oh, thank you so much, Sting B. Thank you so much for the super chat. That does help me. I appreciate it. But so yeah, like, it's just one of those things where you have to have something to stand on, right? You have to have some sense of who you as a person are and what you believe. And it's so many people are just willing to give it away for the dumbest people on the planet to decide for them, right? Like, Donald Trump has decided your moral fucking values. And if you were to go back,
copper should be taxed or have 50% tariff, because Donald Trump says.
Well, think about this though. Think about this crazy situation. There are couples that are in their 50s and 60s who, after decades of life together, got divorced because of the Trump situation, because of one partner's Trump situation. Now, can you imagine going back to 2013 and finding that long, happily married couple and saying, hey, listen, I come from the future. You're not going to believe this because it's so outrageous. But in 2025, you're going to divorce your wife because Donald Trump doesn't share her ideals. You would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And that's just how it is now. And it's like, I don't know, like... And I read a really great article about how in situations like these in the past, a lot of people feel exactly how we feel right now, where it's like, this is so stupid, like, I don't have words to explain how stupid this is, why can't other people see it? And it's just like, unfortunately, that's how this works. But, like, like, the guy from The Apprentice, you're gonna leave your wife for the guy from The Apprentice who, you don't know him. It's not like you started working for him.
He doesn't put out.
Right, like, you're just really into the guy from The Apprentice. If I started leaving my wife because of fucking Mario, that would be just as crazy.
I would be fast.
Thank you, Smug Dog. I appreciate it.
But I do think some people, I don't know if I would say that they're breaking off, but there are some people, I think, maybe like 10% of that, are starting to maybe question some things that have come up with Trump lately. So some people are starting to wake up, but not enough, not very many. But I think like the Epstein thing, I think there are some people that are like, well, that's a red flag. That
Yeah.
Mostly on board with Trump.
Well, and that's the thing, though, is that I feel like for a lot of the more conspiracy theory types who aren't necessarily traditionally political, but they got really into QAnon or they got like sort of really into the Trump ecosystem via conspiracy theories. Like now, Trump's whole thing was we're going to release the files, and we're going to release the files, we're going to end the wars, we're going to, do XYZ thing.
Everything that is not about to happen.
Right. And like all of those things now are not happening. And so it's like he didn't end the forever
He did all the
wars.
bad stuff. He
Right.
was like, we're going to do tariffs.
And so it's like your life is worse. You have none of the weird shit that you were like a single issue voter on. Like being a single issue voter on Jeffrey Epstein was weird to begin with, but now you're not even getting that. And so it's like, of course.
He was going to be somehow pro-Palestinian, even though he never said that.
Right. And it's like, I don't know. It's all a little fucky at this point. If you're just like a casual conspiracy theory type Trump guy, I don't know that's. I mean, I know for a fact that's not enough to do anything.
And that's the other thing where it's like part of the problem is, and I think it's a lot the right, but it's a little bit of the left's fault too, is that these people will just go harder on it. Like a lot of times, like they'll just, if they know, like I think there's an ounce somewhere they've repressed inside of themselves where they feel about certain things. They have these doubts where they realize that they're wrong, and they'll never admit to it because they do not want to admit that they were wrong. And part of it is because like they're afraid, like they don't want they're afraid that they're gonna be like made fun of for laughed at it, considered a moron or something. They don't want to admit that because they're afraid what that will say about themselves, and they're afraid what other people will think of them if they're like, oh, I was actually wrong about this. So instead they double down, and then it just becomes this vortex where it just gets worse and worse because they don't want to admit that they fucked up.
Right, and I think that that's real, and that's why I really hate like liberal TikTok, because there's like leftists, and like online there's leftists and then there's liberals, right? And liberals are like sort of like blue no matter who Democrat types, and I tend to like the blue no matter who Democrat types when it comes to actual like political work and that sort of thing, because they actually do the work that moves the needle on elections. But I tend to prefer the online leftists when it comes to like some of the communication stuff, because I think that the happy medium is somewhere in between, right? Like we're not going to adopt 100% of Bernie Sanders' policy platforms overnight, because you have to acknowledge like it can't be true that both the Democratic establishment is so fucking intertwined that they can, throw a presidential election one way or another, or fucking, do this deep state shit that they constantly get accused of doing, right? Like that can't be true at the same time as like, it doesn't matter to get out and vote and fucking all the shit that you hear. Like, and so you do need to find a balance. Fuck, dude. You need to find a balance between like being pragmatic about things and showing up when you need to show up, and also like pushing the party to do better. just a better sort of like fall in line versus, cause a shitstorm ratio. But I think that's sort of the biggest problem. The biggest problem overall is just sort of I don't even know how to put it. But like this sort of sense among the liberal types that you sort of have to mock or whatever. And I see a lot of videos where people are like, oh, well, if you lost your job because of Trump and you voted for Trump, like, that's on you, and I have not a single tear to shed for you, and this, that, the other thing. And, like, I hear that to some extent, and I feel that, like, emotionally. But what you're saying in terms of, like, the real battle isn't necessarily going to be showing these people that everything he said was bullshit, because I think that that's self-demonstrated. I think a lot of it is that psychological barrier of like, okay, so I've been had, right? Like I've been tricked, I've been lied to. But now the people who were right all along are doing like a, fucking nanny poo poo, you're a dumbass. And like that's not going to bring anyone over. And that doesn't mean we have to necessarily win them and have them fucking, reading Marxist theory, but you definitely want them to be like, you need to create an off-ramp for them, even if that, you don't have to invite them to dinner, but you have to say, listen, we get it, like in the same way that you would somebody who's like a former Scientologist or like a former, Jehovah's Witness, or like somebody who had been really indoctrinated into a certain belief system that wound up being, toxic for them. Like, you have to sort of help them deprogram. And, like, we can't do that if everybody wants to be like, oh, well, we were right, and how dare you? Because to some extent, yeah, how dare they, right? How dare they get us to this fucking point and see everything playing out and think that that's okay? But then also, you gotta believe that to some extent they were, some contingent of them, not all of them, a lot of people knew exactly what they were signing up for, but some contingent of them genuinely were duped in some way. And so I don't know. I'm out of words on that. I used them all. But it's bad. It's all pretty bad. Hot take.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what you said, it's just hard to get people to come over when all they do is go after.
Though I do also think, and I refuse to allow the window to be shifted, but I think that there's also a reckoning that needs to happen inside Dem circles and leftist circles, where we stop with the narrative that there's functionally no difference between electing a Democratic and a Republican president. I understand that the Democrats suck. I get that. But we cannot. I remember the conversations about the fucking 2024 election in 2024 where it's like, no, there's no difference. It's going to be the same thing. It's Kamala Harris is not a Democrat. She's not a leftist. It's going to be the same outcome. It is not the same fucking outcome. It is. I can promise you, this shit is not what's happening in a Kamala Harris administration. And but I get
wishful thinking, but I hope that the stuff that Trump's doing speaks for itself, that message, but obviously there's people like that.
But I mean, you know how it, and people who I like and respect were saying shit like that, and I'm just like, stop it, because I know that you think you're making a nuanced point about how there's not enough air between the two parties, and that means that the Dems should go for the left. I know that that's what you hear when you say that, but what the average voter hears is, well, then I should just stay home. Like, that's it. What your uneducated friends think, and I'm not saying uneducated in a negative way, just like your tuned out friends when they hear you say there's no difference, is, well, I don't need to vote. Like, and it just drives me nuts. And so it's like, we gotta stop saying that shit. I understand that I'm sympathetic to the fact that the Democratic Party in like the national scene is like helplessly corporate, and like obviously the reasons that it takes such shitty positions on issues that are absolute layups. The reason that they're not going for Medicare for all is because they're intertwined with the healthcare industry. Like, everybody gets that. Everybody who's like a basic political observer in the United States understands those truths. It's just like, we get it, we're gonna work on it, but we can't work on it if we fucking are in a camp. And so, will you shut the fuck up for like, just shut the fuck up for like 8 years while we figure out how to fucking cleanse the fucking Linda Blair exorcist fucking situation from our democracy. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there are like a few major things standing that are basically preventing Democrats from winning. And I mean, there are definitely things that Democrats could do, but I mean, from like a voter perspective, it's like, okay, well, voters need to understand that their vote does matter, because I feel like there are so many that feel that whether they don't matter. I'm sure a lot of people who would vote Democrat aren't even voting because they don't want to have to do jury duty or don't think it matters.
Real quick though, Smug Dog, thank you for the donation. That's both you and your brother donating. That's very kind. That's incredibly nice. That's I genuinely appreciate that a lot, and I'm glad that you're hanging out too. It's so nice having you guys in the game with us. Yeah. No, but you're right. There's a difference in the sorts of things that Republicans have to deal with in turning out their base and Democrats do. And one of the things
that's way easier, but...
Yeah. Because all of their voters are fucking 90 years old.
Yeah, so the other thing I was going to mention too is just like, I don't think Democrats, like Democratic voters, people who would vote Democrat, you understand like the importance of like the primary and stuff.
Right.
Like it feels like they just show up. Well, they don't show up, but they just go like, oh, so this is who's running for president. I don't like it. They don't think about like, they're not taking into consideration like, we have all these people who we could choose from, and this is the reason. This is like the start of it, I think, like, you know, when it got really bad, is Bernie Sanders should have been the Democratic nominee when it was Hillary. And if the people who vote Democrat actually, like, cared about the primaries and cared about, like, getting someone who they wanted elected in, did that, and they did that, we would have Bernie. And, you know, because I think Bernie could have potentially won being the presidential nominee because people would have seen him and been like, wow, that's who I want to be president compared to the other person. But it didn't happen because no one was paying attention to the primaries, except for people who were voting, like the hardcore Democrats, who they see Bernie and they go, oh, he's too socialist, and he'll never win an election because he's just too out there with our ideals. We need someone who's more centrist. And it's like, you think you need that, and it is kind of true to an extent. And the reason it's true is because the people that show up to vote are more centrist, but the people who don't show up to vote are more like Bernie people, and they don't show up to vote. So by the time they see who the presidential nominee is for the Democratic Party, they don't think, wow, they think, oh, this is Hillary. She's just like not with my beliefs. I don't really care that much. But they would have cared if it was Bernie. So that's a big issue with the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and I think you're touching on something that's like super real, which is that Democratic voters tend to be they tend to be like harder to harder to motivate. Like they're lower motivation voters than Republican voters because Republican voters are almost always more reliable voters. And so it's like if you want to get Democrats to vote, you sort of have to you have to give them a good reason to feel, oh, I'm getting fucked here. This is crazy. That lightning did me no good. But Republican voters, they'll just show up because that's what they do, right? And so it's like, it's a catch-22 because Democrats tend to run uninspiring candidates, or not the most inspiring candidates for the general population. And so the people who they need to get excited to vote don't show up in the primaries. And so because they don't get excited to vote in the primaries and don't show up, they're, like you said, they're not electing the exciting candidates in the primaries. And so the wonkiest, most policy-driven candidate gets through the primary, and now sort of the campaign apparatus has to spin up to try to get people excited about candidates who are inherently sort of unexciting. And I think unfortunately, the thing about Bernie's run in 2016 was that he did really well in Iowa, he did really well in New Hampshire, but then the moment states that were diverse started coming up on the calendar, he struggled. And that was a problem that he fixed in 2020, right? And so the 2016 election, I think, is made out to be this thing about Bernie, being shafted, whatever. And I think to some extent that's true. But I think largely the problem with Bernie and the thing that stunted his momentum was that he fell apart in states that weren't mostly white. And that's, he's a senator from Vermont talking about socialist shit. Like, that's going to take a minute to permeate beyond the sort of like Vermonter type person, unfortunately. And so, I think 2016 was that. I think 2020, he stood a much better chance, but, it was a crowded field, and Elizabeth Warren being in the race didn't help Bernie, and all the other candidates didn't necessarily help Bernie. And so, yeah, but I think it's one of those things now where it's like Dems have to get real, especially post 2024, because Biden should not have fucking been the guy in 2024. He just should not have been the guy. But his advisors fucking sat there and got him gassed up to think you can do it, Joe. And it's like, dude, you cannot do it. You cannot do it. And, it's not that he wasn't a nobleman or not a smart guy. He's fucking smart as a whip when he was, 15 years younger. If Joe Biden ran in 2016, I think Joe Biden beats Donald Trump in 2016. I think all of this is avoided if Joe Biden did what he wanted to do and run in 2016, but he got talked out of it by the, I think it was the Obama people who said, no, don't rain on Hillary's parade. This is her year, right? And so, I don't know. It's a shit show, but I think ultimately the main lesson is when you look at the Zohran Mamdani, in New York, and how all he did was say, there's a really great image I saw. It was a screenshot of the last progressive to run for mayor in New York and their website. And they talk about really sort of lofty concepts that are important, but aren't speaking to the voters as much as they are speaking to other people in the political world. And so it's about building an intersectional campaign that it is diverse and things that are good, but aren't necessarily the things that are on voters' minds, right? If I have 10 seconds to read your campaign website and I see you're building an intersectional coalition who can work across barriers to, that sort of thing, right? That doesn't communicate to me this person's got it in my best interest. But then the Zohran page, he's things are too expensive in New York. We're going to make them cheaper. And then he had plans so that way when people are naturally well, that's not a lot of detail. What is he actually proposing we do? Then you click through and you see that. But you can just from a glance know, oh, this guy knows that there's a quality of life, cost of living issue. And he's that's what he's focused on. And it's just shit like that where Dems sort of need to get their heads out of out of their asses, and not in like a negative way. Like they've got their heads in their asses about good stuff, but like nobody needs that much detail, you know? Like the average voter is not interested in your thesis, you know? Like they're not bookish. The American people are not like bookish people who need, you know, praxis. Like they want to know, like they need the headline. You know, you got to keep it fucking third grade reading level, and that's not like an insulting thing. It's just like people don't have time. They're busy. They got fucking work. They got kids. They got Mario Kart. You think I'm gonna sit there? You think I'm gonna fucking sit there and read your bullshit when I'm fucking 85, fucking 90 in Mario Kart? No, I gotta get back up to 8800. Hot take.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I think with with him and everything, part of it that we're seeing, and it always happens, is usually when something big like Trump happens, which I was a little bit surprised that he was able to come back with something. But anyway, but there's always a pushback. So it's like,
yeah,
you know, like Trump is kind of pushback for Obama because Obama was so, and he wasn't that crazy progressive, but I mean, just having a black man in the White House.
Dude, it drove people crazy. It drove racist people crazy. And Trump, I think you're...
Yeah. It drove them right into Trump.
I buy into that theory 100%, is that it's like it is a pendulum between the crazy fucking... And you know what I think it is? And what I really sort of pray that it is the dying breath of sort of like that old era, right? Where it's like terrible racist people, you know, having the fucking wheel, and this is their last like final grasp at like, we can still take this, right? Like it's the last stand of the Civil War, you know, and hopefully after we deal with, you know, the sort of political crisis we have now, that'll be enough for us to like sort of advance to being like a proper fucking a proper country with healthcare for people, and you know, that doesn't see homeless people as pariahs, and you know, shit like that. Like maybe this is the last step in our evolution towards actually becoming a first world country.
I hope so.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's really optimistic thing.
That's my hope, but I buy into what you're saying. It seems like there's backlash. It seems like there's backlash to Trump whenever, and people like forget how bad it was, and then they remember and they're like, uh-oh, you know?
It only took 4 years and everyone forgot, but now, as long as Trump's in office, we're going to see a lot of liberal candidates win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed.
Even the more extreme ones that are like blatantly socialist.
Well, when did AOC get elected? Was that in 2017?
I think so. It's been a while.
Yeah. So that would make a lot of sense, and that would go with your theory, right? Because if AOC gets elected in 2017, I mean, that's the most instant, immediate backlash to the Trump situation you can imagine. And that was like... And I suspect, here's the thing about AOC, is I think AOC is doing all the right things politically, and I don't think it's a 2028 thing, but like 2032, 2036, I could see her going for it, because it's like, you know, people are only getting younger, and the electorate's only getting younger and sort of hopefully more progressive over time, and, you know, she'll have built a really strong reputation, provided she doesn't fuck it up somehow between now and then.
The only thing is that her reputation goes both ways, so the right absolutely hates her, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I think you're right there. But in any case, it's interesting how Trump may have created sort of like anti-Trump in a way, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Obama created the anti-Obama.
Right.
How it happened.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point.
It's
Live
like
in
for so
hell.
long, for so long we were electing like decently centralist representatives, and not like crazy centralist, but still like nothing like as far out as Obama or as far out as Trump. And then it's like as soon as we went as far out as Obama, I don't think as far out as Trump. Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. I hope it. I think, you know, I'm concerned about the younger generation right now, and they seem like they're swaying towards Republican, but we'll see.
Well, it's all the Chris Gore type shit, unfortunately, and it's
Yeah,
I think it's genuinely a big part of it is Democrats not investing in the sort of larger culture war, right? It's like they're so data driven and like, oh well, we got to make sure whatever we do, whatever we spend money on is like peer reviewed and tested and blah blah blah, that they've sort of forgotten the sort of art to it, you know, because it's an art and a science, right? And they're mostly leaned into the art of it, you know, or the science of it rather. So I don't know. Hopefully they get their shit together. In the meantime, we may be fucked. Unclear.
yeah. Uh, it's the best we can hope for. I think is just that Republicans do such a bad job and screw over everyone so badly that people just realize from that it's a bad idea. Like they're not good at being political candidates, and that's not a good idea to follow. But who knows if that will actually like click with people? But
Yeah.
maybe we'll get to it. And then, yeah, I mean, I remember growing up, I would think like this is so naive, but I also feel like probably every generation has kind of thought this, at least these amount of people. I was just like, wow, when my generation grows up and like all the older people die, like it's just gonna be like nothing but Democrats, like
Yeah, nothing but
we're
good.
gonna
And
be like a ruling party. Yeah, like it's gonna be crazy because all these are the Republicans, and you know eventually that won't be the case anymore because all those younger, you know, we're skewing Democrats, and it's just gonna keep getting more progressive as we keep going on. Not true.
no, well, I mean, the thing is the right wing people have been very intentional about making those sort of media investments and playing the digital game really well so that they can sort of lay a foundation to be able to capture, you know, capture the attention of young men in particular. And the Democrats have no solution for young men and it's too bad because you understand where the Dems are coming from, right? When in terms of, you know, championing diversity and championing, you know, voices that have yet to be heard in a meaningful way or in as prominent a way. But I think to an extent they've overcorrected and they don't have a solution. They don't have a way of talking to, you know, young men like you or I, where, you know, like, I mean, we're both fairly progressive people, and so that we don't really need to be sold. But I've got guys who, you know, I got guys who I know growing up who they're not necessarily Republicans, but they're sort of bought into the Joe Rogan thing. You know, they're like in that world, and it's like, you vote Democrat, right? And it's like, yeah, well, I don't like Trump. And it's like, okay, cool. But like, I could see one thing being the thing that pushes them into being a Trump guy. And it's like, we don't have an answer for that as a party, and we don't have an answer for that as a movement. And I think when you start to talk about that, they're like, well, you know, they should know better, or like, we can't spend all that time trying to reach them. They've been the center of attention for 100 years. And it's like, that's true, but like, it's going to become a problem for us real quick. Like it already is. But like if we start to lose, because and the thing that I talk about is how young millennial men had Obama to look up to, right? Like Obama was the cool guy for the Democratic Party that sort of made millennials be like, oh shit, like way cooler than George Bush, right? Like that's fucking Barack Obama. He's the coolest guy on earth. Like that was a real thing. We haven't had anybody like that for Gen Z or Gen Alpha, right? Like the Democrats have had Bernie Sanders, but Bernie isn't like cool, right? Like Bernie's cool, yeah, but like he's like a grandpa cool. You know, he's like a wacky professor Doc Brown cool. Like we need another guy who wears sunglasses and smokes cigarettes cool. Like that's the vibe we need, and we don't have it right now, unfortunately. And so there's like this problem of the culture battle that we're losing over the long term. And yeah, I don't know.
I think the main issue with that is something that the Democrats are never going to be able to compete with, because it's so easy for them to capture the youth and come up with ways of indoctrinating people when you don't have to actually follow through with what you say. You don't have to like have facts don't matter. Like it's so easy to just say whatever it's gonna get them to vote for you, and that's all they do. And it's so much easier than anything the Democrats could do. Sacrifice the reality to win votes, like, because that's what Republicans have done.
Right. Well, because you don't and that's the thing is when you no longer care about objective reality, it becomes a lot easier, right? Because it's like if I'm sitting there and I'm trying to back up everything I say with sources and like make, calm, rational statements that like reflect reality and that I'm being honest and forthright, it's harder for me than if I'm like just making shit up, right? It's like the source, I made it up image. Like it's literally that. And it's like there's only so much you can do to combat that, because the thing is when you keep saying that's not true, or they're lying, like when you say that over and over and over and over again, people's eyes start to glaze over, because it's like, well, they can't all be lies, right? And it's like, no, they can be, and they are. But it's just they say so many lies, it's impossible. Like everything they say is a lie for the most part. And so it's like, I don't know. And then also it's just like a decay of values. It's like alligator Alcatraz is an insane thing. It's a concentration camp. Like they've created a concentration camp in Florida and people are wearing hats for it and thinking it's like a bit. And it's like, that's crazy. Like, this is crazy. Like people's grandmothers are down for this. And it's like, that's nuts. Like there's so much moral decay on this particular issue. There's just not a lot left to say about. Like, wouldn't you believe it? There's problems in this country. Anyway, listen, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed. But this has been lovely, if not horribly depressing. So, yeah. Hope you're happy.
So happy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Donkey Kong comes out next week, so we got that to look forward to. But thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
All right, gang. We'll talk to you tomorrow. 7:00 p.m. Pacific time.